Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Starboard Portal. My name's Brittany Manning, and this morning we're back with another live weekly workout with Mike and Lauren Kushner of Sailing Performance Training. As always, if you have questions throughout the workout about form or anything else, feel free to ask them in the live chat. And with that, I'll turn it over to them to get us started.
Morning, sailors. Thank you, Brittany. Appreciate you having us here again, and appreciate you Sailing to share all this with you guys. They've brought out fantastic content over the last multiple weeks. This is week 7 for us going live, and we're feeling like we're just kind of getting the hang of it, but we're glad you're able to be here and join us. Lauren and myself are grateful to be able to share our experiences and our knowledge in fitness for you guys here at our home. So with that, let's go to the workout board. And all of this should be in the comments, live comments, as well as in the description of the workout as well. So review it, keep that as a reference as we go through things. Today is going to be a very sport-specific, sailing-specific workout, focusing on unilateral. So unilateral meaning single arm or single leg, single side work. And the idea behind that is in sailing and in our sport, we often deal with a lot of single arm or single leg activity and a lot of rotational activity as well, where something, maybe traditional group classes or traditional functional fitness may be more bilateral. So working with 2 arms at the same time or 2 legs at the same time. So today is going to be a very sport specific, getting outside of maybe activities or exercises that you're comfortable with or that you've tried before, but it's all going to be scalable and allow you to kind of get exposed to some different challenges in the same way. So we're going to start with the warm-up again, as we always do, but let's get into the meat of round B, section B. We're going to do 5 rounds for quality. So we're really focused on the quality of these movements here. If we need to just move to a static hold versus actually doing more of the dynamic alternating arms, we can do that. So going to the level that you feel comfortable with, but it's 30 seconds of work and 30 seconds of rest for 5 rounds. And what we're going to do is 3 different movements. So each movement's going to have that 30 seconds of work, 30 seconds of rest. So handstand, push-up, shoulder taps is the first movement. This is a very, we're going to get inverted. If you feel comfortable to get inverted, or if you've never gotten inverted before, I would challenge you to try it at your home in a safe environment. Maybe have somebody there to spot you. If you've done this before, great, and this will be a really good challenge of your midline as well as your upper shoulders. We can scale it. So I put or plank shoulder taps or quadruped shoulder taps, and Lauren is going to demonstrate kind of a way to scale this. It's just a different lever where we position our feet is just going to create more leverage or less leverage on the shoulders and on the core midline to control. So we'll look over that. But handstand, shoulder taps, alternating arms, single leg, 1 leg Romanian deadlifts, going down and touching our feet, alternating single leg. And then Shin Box to hip extension. So this is a 90-90 rotation of the hips, but we're going to go into a hip extension and challenge both external and internal rotation of the hip. So this is a very dynamic, full range of motion, full stability at the hip, as well as the shoulder, and locking in the midline to the whole thing. So this will be a really fun, challenging piece. We'll come back, we'll recap after that, and we'll do the section C, which is going to be our finisher. It's going to be an 8-minute AMRAP. Again, AMRAP stands for as many rounds or reps as possible. 8, you can see, is the theme. It's our lucky number, so we thought we would introduce that to y'all. But 8 push-ups to lateral planks, and we're going to alternate which side you open up to. We'll demonstrate all these movements, so don't worry. 8 one-legged V-ups, alternating legs, and 8 rotational jumps at a 90-degree turn, 90-degree jump or rotation in the jump. So we'll go through that, and then we're going to score it. Lauren and I are going to compete against each other and compete against all of you as well to just see, hey, how many rounds can we get, plus any reps in the last round can we get with this finisher. Start to challenge that intensity a little bit with some of the skills that we learned and applied in the first series. And we'll do a cool down. So with that, let's start with the warm up. Find your space, and then we'll dig into some of the more specifics. Awesome. All right, so to warm up, why don't we do knee hug as we always have been? So alternating legs, we're gonna grab our knee and pull it up to our chest and then switch sides. Focusing on the balance of that leg that's on the ground. And we'll do one more per side. Good, and now I'm actually gonna have us go wide stance with our legs. We're gonna have us hinge forward and just do a forward fold. Start to stretch the hamstrings just slightly. I'm gonna have us walk to the right. We'll feel a nice little stretch on the right side. Go ahead and stand and reach back with your arms over your head. And then we'll go walk to the left, hinge to the left side. You'll feel a nice stretch in your left hamstring. And then back to the center. And here what we're gonna do is we're gonna do 10 hinges. So you're gonna, from this position, you're just gonna stand, reach up, and then hinge back down to the ground. Just do 10 of those. It's working on activating our posterior chain, which is the back of our body. And one more. Nice, and we'll come back to center. Great, and we're gonna do a step forward with that left foot and put that left elbow to the ground and open it up to the sky and hinge back into a half front split on that left side. Again, we'll go that same side, left elbow to the ground, up to the sky and hinge back. One more on this side, up to the sky and hinge back. Good, and stand. And switch legs. So right leg forward, right elbow to the inside, and reach up to the sky and hinge back. I think we're both a little bit sore from our workout yesterday. Hinge down to the ground, up to the sky, and hinge back. And one last time. Up and back. Good, and stand. We're gonna come to the back of the mat and we're gonna do 5 inchworms. When you get to the end of your inchworm, we're gonna do a shoulder tap, 1 per arm. So this is getting into some of the skill that we're gonna do in the workout. So hinge down, keeping your legs as straight as possible. Go to that plank position, shoulder tap each side and walk back up. We'll do 5 of those. And 2 more. One more. Good. And we're going to do something that's fun just to warm up the body a little bit. You're going to face a partner. And if you don't have a partner, we're going to just kind of do it on your own for a certain amount of time. So this is called a mirror drill. And we're going to move laterally within the space of a mat, call it 8 feet, 10 feet. And you have to mirror what the other person is doing. So if you don't have a partner, watch us mirror the leader who's going to go first. And we're going to go for 15 seconds on, 15 seconds rest. And we're going to switch partners and then do it again. So Lauren's going to lead first. Just move laterally. And I have to do exactly what she does. Okay. We'll start in 5 seconds to mirror drill. Again, follow Lauren or follow us and try to keep up. 2, 1, and go. Oh, bear squats. Oh, okay, time. Okay, time. 15 seconds rest. Keep it together here. Good. All right. 3, now you're following me. 3, 2, 1, and go. Good. Couple more rotations. Good. Call it good. Nice. Just get the heart rate up a little bit. Keep it fun. Something you can do with your kids. Mirror drill, it's called. You see, we're laughing. We're just having fun. Breath rates up. Okay. So good little warm up. We'll call it good from there. So round B, section B, 5 rounds for quality. We'll touch on the first one first is a handstand push-up, handstand shoulder taps. And we're gonna scale this in some varying fashions. So pay attention here and we'll help guide you through it and find which one's gonna be the right one for you. So handstand, the way we're gonna get into our handstand is it's called a wall walk, but we're gonna actually walk up the wall. So keeping our midline really nice and tight. We're gonna walk up the wall so our feet are touching for support and our chest is near the wall, as close as we can get it. You're gonna press away from the ground as much as possible and keep that midline nice and tight. Now for the shoulder touch, all we're gonna do is raise one arm and switch sides. So you're kind of shifting your weight back and forth to keep the weight stacked over the shoulders. Okay, good. And if we need a scale, what we can do, actually just walk down all the way just to see how to walk down. So it's the same thing on the way down, is you're really just sliding your feet down the wall or stepping down the wall to that plank position, and that will be our rest position. So really making sure you have a safe environment for this. Find a wall that you feel comfortable doing this on. Going sans shoes, without shoes, probably a good idea just so you don't mark it up. But this is the idea, is we're walking up the wall and then walking back down, and at the top we're doing some shoulder taps. Good. So if you feel this is too difficult, and if the way we would identify if it was too difficult is if you can't keep the midline supported. If you can't keep the midline supported, we can walk out just a little bit further. So we're at a slight angle here, and then we're shoulder tapping. Okay, so this is changing the leverage point so there's less load. Walk down again, recover. Okay, good. Just even holding that position is really difficult, as Lauren's demonstrating really well. But if you feel the shoulder taps is even difficult, challenge yourself. Even just to get up to that position is a success in holding for 30 seconds. And then slowly alternating, just lifting off one hand is a good way to start. If you don't feel comfortable getting in an inverted position, we're just going to go to a plank position. So plank position, as Lauren's going to demonstrate, is core nice and tight, straight line between our neck, shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles. And what we're going to do is keep that position. We're not going to let the hips sway side to side very much if we can control it. And you're going to alternate shoulder taps, keeping those hips nice and stable, alternating shoulder taps. If you need to go wide stance with your legs, that's going to help provide a bigger base of support. Good. A next variation of that, a regression of that, is just going to be going to all fours, what we call a quadruped position. And with those knees directly under the hips, we're going to switch, keeping the core engaged, switch shoulder taps. opposite hand, opposite shoulder. So that's another way that we can sub. So let's spend the next 30 seconds or so just getting into those positions and practicing what we're gonna do for the workout. So I'm gonna practice too as well. So walk up into your position, feel how stable you are. If your low back is starting to sag, then we know that that's going to be too advanced of a position. And walking down safely. If you push into the wall at this position, you can have a lower lever, but again, you need to push away from the ground as much as possible. And safely sliding down to the ground. Good. We're gonna do 5 rounds of this. So you may do the first round inverted, second round, slight elevation, third round, plank, and we might do the same thing too. So that's okay. Again, we're just challenging getting outside the box in terms of shoulder stability and being able to keep that core nice and engaged. That's the goal here. If you have questions on that, please don't be shy to ask. Again, we can show the regressions, but it's all about focusing on the core and alternating side to side with the shoulders. All right, so the next movement is single leg Romanian deadlifts. So how this will look is you're gonna hinge at the waist, keeping that leg relatively straight, but the knee can bend slightly. And you're gonna alternate legs, touching the ground or close to the ground or your toe as possible. So trying to keep the hip square to the body, sending the butt back, hinging at the waist, and keeping the back nice and flat. Just alternating legs. And what we're doing is here, we're just training the body to be able to load posteriorly, meaning that it's loading the hamstring, the glutes, and the back in a proper supported way, and alternating positions like that. If you feel like you're falling forward or you're on your toes, what's the issue there is that you're not pressing far enough back into your posterior chain. So really try to drive those hips back as far as possible. And as a result, you'll feel more balanced in the foot. So 30 seconds of that, not too hard, but really focus on the control of the lowering and the standing. Great, the next movement and the last movement of what we're gonna do for round B is Shin Box to hip extension. So Shin Box is basically putting the legs into a 90-90 position on each side. So let's just talk about the 90-90 position. So what we're gonna start with is we're gonna come to one side, and the goal here is to get 90 degrees with one leg and 90 degrees with the other leg. So the knee, inside of the knee is down on the ground on one side, and the outside of the knee is close to on the ground on the other side. This is what we call external rotation in the leading leg and internal rotation on the back leg. And what the goal here is really to challenge whether we have the flexibility and mobility to get into this position, one. And if you don't, this is a great warm up to just increase that range of motion. Two, we're gonna go into a hip extension and create stability in terms of activating the glute at those ranges of motion. So the Shin Box itself, if you've never done this before, is just switching sides. So going from one side 90 to the other side 90. And you can have your hands supported behind you, or you could go without your hands. Really focusing on keeping your butt on the ground. Now the hip extension, and Lauren's gonna use her hands to support herself, is going into the first 90-90 and then coming up on this back knee and that forward knee into a hip extension. So coming up to a kneeling position, but keeping those legs the same way they are. And then as you lower, you're just gonna control the lower so your butt touches the ground, and then switch sides. Good, and lower down, and switch sides, and back up. So you'll feel as you do this, you'll get more and more comfortable. You feel like you have more range of motion, with it, but really focus on controlling the way down, switching sides, finding the end ranges of motion, and then coming back up. If you need to use a hand for support, that's a-okay. So let's practice this a little bit as well and try to find a space that you feel comfortable with it. If that hip extension is too difficult, just go to the 90-90 switches, the Shin Box, as we call it. So moving from one side to the next and really feeling like your hips, you're able to get some movement. You may feel a little tightness in your hips. That's okay. We've been stuck in more of a sedentary mode recently, so this will be a good way to open up. The application of this in terms of sailing, think of laser sailors, think of sailing downwind. You're predominantly on starboard downwind, but that 90-90 position, front leg externally rotated, back leg internally rotated, it's a pretty similar position. And what we want to make sure is that for sailors that we're symmetrical on both sides is the goal, so that we don't have an injury risk of compensations relating to blockages on either side. So this Shin Box is a good way to open it up. Okay, so if there are questions, please comment. We will touch on them, but we're going to get started regardless. So 5 rounds, 30 seconds of work, 30 seconds of rest, handstand push, shoulder taps. If you need to move to a plank or quadruped position, please do. Single leg Romanian deadlifts, touching the toes, touching the ground, but show control. Shin Box to hip extension, show control. So each one of these, we're going to do 30 seconds, 30-second rest for 5 rounds. So it's gonna take a bit, but that's okay. That's 15 minutes of work here. Brittany, please let me know if there's questions. But if not, we can always digest some of this or pause in the middle if needed.
No questions so far. So if anybody does have anything they're wondering how to do or modify, feel free to ask that in the live chat box.
Okay, great. All right, time for us to get to it here. So, going to start a little workout session. And I'm actually going to take my watch off so I can see the time. Not too worried about heart rate right now. This is just a for quality piece. All right, you ready, Lauren?
Ready. I'm
going to start the timer and we'll start at when it hits 30 seconds. 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. Starting in 15 seconds, handstand, shoulder taps, 10 seconds. Three, 2, 1. "15 seconds. And time. Good job. 30 seconds of rest. And we're moving to single leg Romanian deadlifts. Again, keeping control of the midline. That's the goal. Really activate, brace your core. Starting in 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and go. Find your balance. Should feel the hamstring kind of light up in terms of tension. Means you're sending your hips back far enough. 5 seconds left. And rest. Good, and the next one will be a Shin Box. Starting in 15 seconds. Starting in 5, 3, 2, 1, and go. This is a great pre-sailing warm-up. 5 seconds left. Last rep. Good, and rest. Back to handstand shoulder taps. Yep. 15 seconds. 10 seconds. If you were keeping track of your score, you know, try to get an equal amount, but otherwise it's for quality. Starting in 3, 2, 1, and go. "15 seconds. "5 seconds. And rest. Nice job. How are the shoulders feeling?
Good.
Good. 15 seconds. We're moving to single leg Romanian deadlift. 10 seconds. Really focus on your balance, stability at the ankle, stability at the hip. 2, 1, and go. Five seconds. Last rep. And rest. Good. And next is Shin Box to hip extension. Nice gradual pace from last week's intensification. We just saw a chipmunk walk by on our deck. I've seen a lot of wildlife recently. Starting in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and go. Halfway there. Five seconds. And rest. Good job. Any noticings from that, Lauren? Shin boxes are hard. Yeah, just a full range of motion expression. Take your time with it. There's no rush.
It feels good on my hips.
Feels good on the hips. Yep, yeah. It should. All right, 10 seconds. We'll go back to handstand push, handstand shoulder taps. Lauren's going to go to plank taps. 5 seconds. 2, 1, and go. Ten seconds. 5. And rest. Good job. Good work. This is round 3. Starting in 10 seconds, single leg deadlifts. 3, 2, 1, and go. Find your balance. Halfway there. Five seconds. And rest. I feel like that bird that just keeps pecking. Okay. Next is shoulder taps. Over halfway done just with this activation series. Again, this is a good warm up, good activation, full range of motion, as well as stability. Starting in 5. If you need to use your hands, go ahead. 2, 1, and go. Halfway there, 15 seconds left. Last rep and rest. Good job. Great, 2 more rounds. How are these for everybody? I know you might not have time to chat, but let us know how they feel and we'll talk about it at the end. 10 seconds to shoulder taps. Find your position that you're comfortable with maintaining. Starting in 3, 2, 1, and go. Halfway. Five seconds. And rest. Good job. How does this feel on the plank? Still like, still activating, right? Staying super stable is the key, really focusing on contracting as many motor units or muscle groups as possible. Okay, single leg deadlifts again, starting in 5 seconds. 2, 1, and go. Alternating legs. Halfway there. Five seconds left. And rest. So this is the end of our 4th round. 1 more round to go. Starting in 15 seconds, we're going to do the Shin Box to hip extension. Again, if the hip extension is too difficult, or you feel like you don't have the control to get up and out of that safely with control, just go to the hip rotations. Starting in 3, 2, 1, and go. Halfway there. Control on the way down. Three, 2, 1, and rest. Good job. Last round coming up. 5 rounds. $15 seconds. Starting in 5, 3, 2, 1, and go. Fifteen seconds left. Push away from the ground. 5 seconds. And rest. Nice work. That was a difficult, but that's good. A really good gauge of midline support and shoulder stability. Last round of single leg deadlifts. Starting in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and go. Halfway there. Five seconds left. And rest. Nice job. Last set of shin box to hip extension coming up. And then we'll regroup and talk about the finisher. Good job, everybody. Starting in 15 seconds. Really challenge yourself on this one. If you've been using your hands, don't use your hands. Even if you get a couple reps in, that's okay. Starting in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and go. Show stability. Halfway there. Five seconds left. And rest. Good job. Nice, Lauren. Good work. All right, we'll give ourselves a couple minutes here to go over the movement standards for the finisher and answer any questions you have. How did that feel? To be honest, I feel warmed up. Like, just feel hamstrings are warm, hips are open, midline is active, shoulders are, in a sense, kind of firing already. Like, you feel like they're warm, and the muscles are really had to fight for stability through that. Even though it's simple movements, they're kind of complex in the same way, and very kind of skill orientated, single arm, single leg, focused on getting the core involved. When you work single arm, single leg, there's a lot of rotational core strength that's happening to try to keep everything engaged, that we're not rotating or twisting or compensating in any weird way. So that's the goal there. If there's any questions, please put them in the comment, and happy to discuss afterwards too, of how maybe some of these exercises may apply to the sport of sailing with some specific classes or just generally. Okay, so we will go into the finisher here, and the AMRAP itself. 8-minute AMRAP, again, as many rounds or reps as possible. And we're gonna do 8 push-ups to lateral planks. 1 rep is gonna be a push-up and an open up to one side. Then the second rep is gonna be a push-up and an open up to the second side. So that's gonna be the goal there. 8 reps of single leg V-ups. So each rep is up to one leg. 1, 2, 3. We'll go over the details. And then 8 rotational jumps at a 90-degree rotation. Each 90-degree turn is a rep. So it's going to go quick, and we have 8 minutes of it. So theoretically, you know, if we're under a minute per round, we should be getting around 8 rounds, somewhere in there. That's just what I think Lauren's going to be able to do. And then we'll record our score. So maybe keep a tally with a marker or some poker chips or some saltine crackers or whatever you have. Keep a tally on your phone of where you are within the rep scheme so that we can tally it up at the end. But let's go over the movement standards and let us know if you have questions on it. So push up to lateral plank. So from the push-up position, again, it's basically the setup of a plank position. Hips, shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles are all in a line with each other. You're gonna go down to the ground, chest to the ground, come up to the top of that push-up. So that's the push-up. Now we're gonna rotate to a lateral plank. So stacking the shoulders over each other, over the wrist, and showing stability within this lateral or side plank position. Coming back down to the plank, that's 1 rep. And now we're gonna go into the 2nd rep, which is a push-up, and then opening up to the opposite side into this very stacked, controlled position with your body. Then going back down. So that's 2 reps. Now this is rep 3, rep 4, and showing stability. If we need to sub this, what we'll do is we'll just go to our knees. But when we go to our knees, we wanna keep that hip, knee, and shoulder still in a line. We don't want that butt poking up too much, right? So hit everything in a line. You'll do a push-up, knee push-up, and then we're gonna rotate on our knees to that side lateral plank, okay? And then switch, that's rep 2, and come up. You'll see that the feet actually support as it rotates from side to side with the knees. So you're getting the effect of the push-up as well as the effect of a side plank, but you're just on your knees. That's the goal there. So 8 reps total. Each side is 1 rep. Next, we're gonna go into single leg V-up. Move this down a little bit. So a single leg V-up. V-up, let's just show a V-up real quick. Legs together is gonna be coming up and touching at your knees, at your shins, at your toes, however far you can. Single leg V-up is going opposite arm to opposite foot. So what you're gonna do is come up right arm to left foot and then back down, switching sides and back down, switching sides. If you can only touch your knee or you just put your hands around there, that's fine. But the goal is to get that chest up into a nice high position and the leg up into a nice high position so that you're in this V position. The other leg can just be resting, okay? So do a couple more and I'll count the reps. That's 1 rep on one side, 2 reps on the other side, 3 reps, and 4 reps. Nice job, and rest. Rest. The nice thing about her demonstrating is that she fatigues a little bit faster, so I might be able to beat her. But, oh, did I say that aloud? Sorry. Okay, so rotational jumps, 90-degree rotational jumps. Just messing with the camera here so that we make sure we get the full expression of it. So yeah, back to what looks good. So the jump, just like the squat jump, which we did, maybe do a couple squat jumps. So you're squatting down to where the hips are above the knees, that's fine. And you're just jumping up as vertically as you can. So go ahead and do a couple squat jumps just to warm up, jumping up as high and vertical as you can. Okay, so I wanna keep that height throughout this whole thing. All right, but what we're doing is that as we're jumping up in that peak of the apex of the jump, I want you to be rotating and then lowering down at a 90-degree rotation and then switching sides. So you're gonna jump as high as you can and then come down to a stable position in a 90-degree turn. Then you're going to go for another rep. That's 2 reps, okay? 3, good. 4, 5, good, and rest. So you can choose how you do this. You could keep going around in a circle, right? Or you could just go left, right, left, right, left, right. And this little bunny hop that's happening here, that doesn't count, okay? So try to have as much vertical height in the rotation as possible, vertical height, and then rotating and coming down, okay? So it's not just a bunny hop side to side. We're not doing moguls down a hill. We're really trying to get the full expression including a rotation, and your body has to learn how to create that rotation at the midline to come to a stable position at a 90-degree angle. Okay, so those are the 3 movements. And again, we're alternating legs or lateral position of the plank in the push-up, and then we're alternating 90-degree turns. And so it's 8 reps, but it's going to go quick. Okay, so it's alternating, and each of those alterations is a rep. All right, Brittany, let us know if there's any questions, and Lauren's going to catch her breath here before we go. Okay, doesn't sound like we have any questions.
I'm going to make like a little line to strike through.
Oh, good idea. Sure. All right, let's show that. That's actually a good strategy. So Lauren's just showing, if you have a whiteboard or you have a piece of paper with a pen, you could kind of strike through. So a whiteboard with a dry erase marker, you just have a line, and then you just strike through the line every round that you finish. And then at the end, you can count your strikes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds.
6 rounds. So maybe we need a longer line.
Yeah.
Because she's going to get more than 6 rounds. Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. Great. And again, if you have any questions, let's just practice those movements. Push up to lateral planks. Again, and go from the knees if you need sub. Single leg V-ups, alternating sides. Touch the knee, the shin, the foot if you can. And then rotational jumps. So those are the movements. We're going to put an 8-minute timer on this. And I'm going to start when my time hits 25. So that's in 35 seconds. We're going to start. Lucky number 8. Just going to move this over. There's a little bump in the floor here. Okay, starting in 15 seconds, 8 reps on everything, 8 minutes. You're going to put a countdown?
I'm going to just do an 8 minute just in case we lose.
10 seconds. Starting in 5, 3, 2, 1, and go. Good. 8 of those.
Circle me. One round done. All right, 2 rounds done. Nice job, Lauren.
Good job. 3 rounds done. Good job, everybody. Here we go. Good job. 4 rounds. Coming up on 3 minutes left. Good job, Lauren, you got it. All right, good job. Good job, Lauren, come on. 5 rounds. 2 minutes left. Come on, everybody, you got it. Keep moving. Good job. You have a minute left? Okay, minute left. Good job. Finish out this round, come on. 6 rounds. Thirty seconds left. Come on, finish it out. Get into the next round. 15 seconds. Come on, everybody. Go, go, go. 5 seconds. And rest. Good job. Whew. How many push-ups did you get in that? 6 push-ups in her last round. Good job, everybody. Tally up your scores. 6 plus 6. Good job. Okay, I got 6 plus 8 push-ups to lateral planks. Now I got 5 single leg V-ups. So what's that? That's
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
13. 13 reps. 6 plus 13 for Mike. 6 plus 6 for Lauren.
And I modified by doing some regular push-ups and some from my knees. I mixed it up.
Okay, so if you heard that, she modified, which is totally fine, which is good to know, just for yourself, what you did. So if you do it again or similar movement, you can challenge it again. So modified with some full push-ups and then some knee push-ups to lateral plank. Awesome. Good job.
Thank you, Michael.
All right, so post your score. It looks something like this. If you were doing your dashes, 6 plus 6. If you modified it in some way, let us know how you modified it. And if you didn't, just put your score. Yeah, be interesting to see if people got to 8 rounds.
Yeah.
8 rounds would be just a minute per round. That's exactly what it'd be. So if you got that, good on you. The limiting factor, I think, was the push-ups,
Yeah, for
just
sure.
in terms of how fast you could go. And then you were, under some muscle fatigue. So then when we got to the rotational jumps, it just
I
felt
felt like I was slow. I had to stick my landing
right.
and then go for the next one.
And the reason you had, maybe why it felt slow for you, is just because you really have to activate your core, and that rotation just adds a different level of explosivity and muscle activation that is actually just makes things a little bit harder. So to go from one rotation to the next rotation ends up challenging the midline and the legs in a slightly different way. So the whole goal today was really to challenge your sport specific training, getting more unilateral and challenging that rotational core. So hope you enjoyed that. We'll do a little bit of a cool down to stretch it out. Yeah, let us know if scores are coming in, and if you have any questions, happy to answer them as we're stretching. Awesome. Oops. All right, Lauren's going to lead us through a little cool down here. Okay, so we're going to start with a seated straddle, it's called. So instead, previous weeks they've been feet together in terms of a forward fold. Now we're going to go wide feet apart, and it's going to work more on the interior of the leg, the groin. You're going to walk your hands forward, just kind of crawl and step your hands forward. Let your head relax. No need to push or pull yourself into this. Just go to the range of motion where you feel like you can't go any further, and then just relax. This is a passive stretch, not an active stretch. So you have to really let the body do the work for you in terms of getting into that stretch. We'll hold it for another 45 seconds. Let your head relax, back relax. As you're here, walk right and left. Just feel what it feels like. Feel like if one groin, one leg is a little tighter than the rest, you have 15 more seconds. So kind of just do a little exploration here, walking right to left. 10 seconds left. Good, and rest. Come to kneeling position, so knees on your knees and with your heels under your butt. Yeah, eagle sounds great. So eagle is in this position. You're going to put the left arm over the right arm in the elbow creases, and then grab your thumb of that left arm. And what we're doing is here, you can raise those elbows up or down, and you'll feel on that left shoulder or the right shoulder, depending on where you're tight, you'll feel like you're just getting a nice little stretch of that upper back and in to that shoulder. We'll hold it for another 30 seconds. 10 seconds. Then we'll switch arms. 3, 2, 1, and just shake out those arms a little bit. And we're gonna switch arms. So right arm on top of the left in the elbow crease, and you're gonna grab your thumb and create a little bit of space in that shoulder. You can move your elbows up or down. You're gonna hold for another 30 seconds.
Stretching our quads at the same time.
Stretching your quads at the same time, exactly. It's a multi-faceted stretch. Huh. 10 seconds left. 5, 3, 2, 1, and good. And the next one, we're going to do thread the needle. So we're going to come to that quadruped position, all fours.
Right arm. Okay.
Right arm is going to thread through the left arm, and you're going to bring that right shoulder to the ground, keeping your hips as square as possible. You're going to just get a nice stretch in the thoracic spine, get a nice rotational stretch, loosening up everything that we just did. We're going to hold for another 15 seconds.
You kind of push with your left hand to get a little more rotation.
Yeah, if you 5 seconds left. If you push with your left arm that's supporting, you can get a little bit of more rotation out of that shoulder. 3, 2, 1, and we'll switch sides. Right arm planted, and the left arm's going to thread through, bringing that shoulder to the ground, keeping those hips as square as possible. Again, pushing with that right arm to get a little bit more rotation if you can. If you feel like you're pretty limited here, you might be limited one side more than the other. Great observation. You need to understand if we have any imbalances rotationally, especially for the sport. Nice, 15 more seconds. Five more seconds. And rest. Good. Let's call it there. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining again yet another week. We're happy to share a little bit more sport-specific training with you. And we hope you enjoyed that. So if there's any questions, we're happy to answer them. Otherwise, we will sign out, Brittany.
No questions, but thanks again for another awesome workout, Mike and Lauren. And thanks everybody for watching. If you want to see more from these guys and SPT, feel free to visit their website at sailingperformancetraining.com. You can check out their medallion program if you want more workouts like these. And finally, I just want to thank our U.S. sailing members that make the Starboard Portal possible. If you'd like to join or renew your membership, you can do that at mem.ussailing.org. And thanks again, everybody, and have a great weekend.
Thank you, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.